Hey guys, it's your girl here, Tracy from Bump in the Night Productions, and I'm doing a solo again today. It's a couple of days after Halloween, and I thought I would bring you to a place today which is probably one of my most favourite cemeteries of all, and this is West Terrace Cemetery. It's here in the city, here in Adelaide. So I'm going to take you around and just show you a little bit while I can. Forgive the husky voice. I'm on a new medication and one of the side effects is a husky voice, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to my singing, but anyway, worst comes to worst, I'll be changing the medication. But anyway, let's go on a little walk and we'll check out a few things. If there's anybody here today in spirit that would like to communicate with me, you're most welcome to do that. However, you must remember, you can talk into my camera. I will be able to hear you when I play it back. However, you are not allowed to touch me. Also, you are not allowed to follow me home. I am protected. I'm protected by my guardians and my loved ones. So if you want to follow me around and talk into my camera and let yourself be known, I am more than cool with that. This place, I just love it more and more every time I come here. And just when you think you've seen everything, you find something else that you haven't seen. And as you can see, there are so many old graves here. Some, I think some of them are 17, most of them are 1800s. But, and once again, you know, the masonry that goes into making these tombstones, it's art. So it's not just the paranormal that we're interested in, it's also the historical aspect of these tombstones, because once they're gone they can't be replicated, and if they can, it's not going to be the same. You know, these are people who, you know, probably learnt this craft from generation to generation, and I don't have to tell you, in this day and age, you know, just even applying a general trade now, it's becoming a dying art. It really is. No pun intended with the dying bit. So we're going to go for a walk down here. I'm going to show you a couple of things today that I have experienced here, which I think was probably meant to be. This is probably the place where it was meant to happen, to get me back into being in touch with spirit. You know, sometimes as you get older, your ability to connect wavers for one reason or another. And I'm kind of glad now that I've reconnected. I actually did a pendulum session at home with my family. I called my nana through before I came and asked her, did I make the right choice in coming here instead of the other one I was going to, and I got a big swinging yes. And when I asked her a couple of other questions about the other cemetery that I want to go back to at night, which coincidentally every time I've planned to go back at night to this other cemetery, something's happened, whether it's been the weather or I've come down feeling unwell. I kind of think it might be a bit of a message. If I go back, maybe I do need to be smart and take someone with me. But yeah, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But I'm definitely determined to go back. And I know right now Nana's probably shaking her head at me as I say that. Sorry, Nana. And we're going to head over that way. There's the older Catholic section further over. And I'll give you a little bit of info about that just to say. This is the Smythe Memorial Chapel. It's just been re-roofed. It used to have a red roof on it, and it's just recently been redone. This is a part of the old Catholic section. It's a mortuary chapel. There's a couple of bishops buried beneath the chapel. There's a certain section in this Catholic section here that in the day or the night, I won't even go near because it's just really bad juju. I kind of get the feeling that whoever's letting off this energy wasn't a good person in life. They abused their privilege, and I always get the feeling that kids are involved every time. It's over in that corner over there. There's another section further along the path on the right too that I sort of feel a bit yuck every time I come here. And it's funny, even when I've had people here and I've said nothing and I've just asked them, let me know if you feel anything, and they kind of pick up on the same spot as what I do every time. It's really crazy. So yeah, there's the Smythe Chapel in its glory. There are a lot of families buried here, but there's also a lot of bishops, ministers, priests, nuns buried here. And I'll just take you down this way a bit. And today I'm going to do something that I wasn't planning on doing. And if there's any wind in this video, I apologise in advance. We're going to go down here in a second. And see, already I'm getting a really weird, just a weird heavy vibe. It just feels off. Not a fan. I'm just going to pan around for you. Beautiful old headstones as far as the eye can see. Bernie and I are going to be planning a lot more videos in the new year, overnight ones. Once again, it's just about syncing our schedules and then making it happen, which we will. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the first full apparition I ever saw, and it was right here in this cemetery. I was actually here with another friend of mine, Kel, who's also very interested in paranormal. We were here at night doing a photography session, and just behind me, a few rows back, I was standing over there and Kel was there as well. I looked up and I saw an apparition of a nun. She was as solid as me or anyone else that you would know, walking down the path, and she disappeared into this headstone here. This headstone is the mother. And it turns out her daughter was a nun, and we believe that she was doing a visitation to her mother's grave. And funny enough, this was happening when we were here. It was just before Easter, just before the Easter Sunday, and she disappeared, walked right into this grave and she disappeared. Kel did a bit of research and found out that Sister Mary Benedicta is actually buried at Kapunda. So I think that's a pretty good indication that spirit can go wherever they damn well please. I found it a really humbling experience, and I felt really privileged that she showed herself to me. And it's something I will never ever forget for as long as I live. So even though her earthly vessel is buried at Kapunda, her spiritual essence clearly travels and goes wherever she wishes. And the fact that she came here to visitate her mother just before the Easter weekend, and I got to see it. It was pretty damn spectacular. And yeah, and the one time, of course, when you don't have a camera going and these things happen. So yeah, I was very, very fortunate for this to happen. Okay, I'm going to walk through this little section here. This is one of the sections too where I don't like it, and this is really kind of the first time I've actually kind of stepped in. I refuse to show fear, however I'm not stupid. You know, if something's off and something doesn't feel right, it's not worth pushing the barrier. However, I'm just going to come in here for a little way and just sort of stand here. If there's anybody here that would like to communicate with me, you can speak into my camera, and then when I play this back and edit it, I will be able to hear you. And remember guys, if you're watching this, we're not like other channels. We're not going to put captions up if we hear or see or sense anything. You guys are going to do the work. We may already know what it is and we're not going to put it up. We want to see how cluey you guys are and see what you pick up on. It's a little bit further over too, that's a bit more not my cup of tea, but there's actually a guy over there standing out there near his car looking a bit sus, so I'm not going to go over there. Anyway, we're going to head round near to the children's section now, and I'll fill you in on a few things about that particular area. Okay, I've just had my autofocus messed around with again. When I was standing over in the section that I don't particularly like, my autofocus is out of whack, and all you can pretty much see is my glasses and not much else, which is really weird, but not unexpected. I do feel a little bit, I don't know what the word is, a little bit sort of, I can almost feel like my heart rate has gone up a little bit. Not scared or anything, just I can sense that there's stuff over there, and I don't like it. And I think they know that I don't like it. And quite frankly, I don't care if they know. So we're going to head over to the kids section, like I said before, and yeah, we'll check out a few things over there, and then we'll head into the war memorial. Okay, peace. Don't mind the train going past again. I was taking some photos before of some corellas who are making the most of the milk thistles, and when I was focusing around this area, my camera was really blurry. It just would not focus. If there's anybody here in spirit that would like to communicate and talk to me, if you speak into my camera, I'll be able to hear you. My name's Tracy, and you probably know me. I've been here many times. So if you'd like to say hello, I would welcome that. The corellas are just flying away. I scared them. So is there anyone here that would like to speak to me? If so, would you like to tell me your name? And if you are still here in spirit, you know you don't need to be. There is another part of your journey that you need to be on. And for whatever reason you're staying, don't let that hold you back. Take the next part of your journey. Be happy. Okay, we are heading over around here, actually. around this way. So all this open area that you see here is mostly children. I don't know if you can see, but there's concrete markers that indicates where there is someone buried, and some of these are mass graves. So not such a long time ago, when you think about it, if a woman was to give birth to a child who was born still or miscarried or lost a young child, children from children's homes, I just found a feather that I'm going to pick up and keep. Pretty gorilla feather. This is generally where they ended up. A lot of them were unmarked. A lot of them were in mass graves. Oh, I forgot to do something. Hi kids! I always say hi to the kids when I come here because I get some amazing orbs, which kind of makes me sad sometimes because I know there's kids still here. I just know there is. And as I've said before in one of the photos, well, 2 photos I've got, a young boy walking along with us. Hi kids, it's Tracy. I'm back to visit you. If there are any children still here in spirit and you'd like to talk to me, you can talk into my camera and I'll be able to hear you. So yeah, then eventually a lot of mothers who had lost children didn't get to hold their children after they were born. They were taken away. They didn't have the services that we have now. You know, it's clearly acknowledged that that's your baby and you should be able to spend time with your baby, hold your baby, do all the things that a mother does, irrespective of whether your child's born still or not. So their mothers wanted to know where their children were. And I'm not going to actually show you their names, but you can see some families are finding out where they are, and memorial plaques are being put in place for their little earthly vessels that were laid to rest. I guess you could say in some respect this was a dirty little secret. Even along the railway track, along the fence, there's even kids buried there, which I just think is just disgusting. But the Cemeteries Trust of South Australia is making a conservative effort to find out whose little ones were here, and for families who want to know where their little ones are and have the opportunity to lay a memorial plaque, they're now being given that option, which I think is really important. It just makes you, when I walk through here, it just makes me realise that don't take things for granted. Tomorrow's never promised. So you need to make the most of each day that you get. Be kind to the ones around you that you love. And you know what? Live a good life and don't put up with other people's crap. So yeah, this is the kids section, and there's another section over here which we will head on over to in just a sec. If there are any children here in spirit and you'd like to talk to me, remember my name's Tracy and I've been here with Bernie and Ashlyn, and I know you love Ashlyn. I'm talking to this camera now, and tell me your name. And would you like me to come back and try to help you move on? I think you deserve to be able to do that. There's another part of your journey that you need to be on. Okay, off camera I just did a pendulum session. I didn't have my other stand to put the camera on, so I had to turn this camera off because this is just on a big stick. And I wouldn't be able to sit it anywhere safe. I'm pretty close to tears. I believe I've made a connection with the little boy that we have in the photos. He wants the chance to move on, and he wants to go with the other kids. I think I owe it to them to come back and try to make that happen. They've also indicated that they want Bernie and Ashlyn to come back, and it's pretty clear to me that they love Ashlyn. They think Ashlyn is just amazing. Do you know what? Death doesn't bother me, but when it's kids and they're kids that have been forgotten, it breaks my heart. It really does. So we're definitely going to come back, the three of us, and then we'll do another pendulum session, and then we'll do a prayer or something to help move them on. I thought I just heard footsteps behind me, but that might have been the wind. As you can see, the sun's starting to slowly go down. It's daylight saving here in Adelaide at the moment, so it's not getting dark till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So yeah, we need to come back and help move these kids on. The thought that some of them in spirit have been here, and they've indicated they are all together here, so they're together. That should make me feel a little bit better in some respect, but it doesn't. They need to move on, and we're going to try and do our best to make that happen. Okay, heading into the return servicemen section now. This is another favourite part of the cemetery that I love coming to. I find it really peaceful. We did a spirit box section here. Spirit box session here. Oh man, tongue-tied much. Kel and I came here a few years back with the kids, and I had a bag with some little badges on it. One of the badges had Elvis, and we asked if they knew who was on the badge, and I pointed to it, and as clear as day through the spirit box you hear Elvis, which is pretty cool. And I also think we made contact with, actually I think I just walked past, with Peter Malloy. I'm pretty sure it might have been Peter. But yeah, it's an amazing place. And sadly, it's a place that's here because once again, wars happen. People go to defend the country, or allies with other countries, so join forces, and this is the result. Death. Circumstances that happen, deemed that it was their time. How things may have been different if they hadn't gone off to war. How many would have lived to a ripe old age and married, had children, grandchildren. Hi boys, it's Tracy. I'm back to say hi and to thank you again for your service. I'd like to hope that you've all transitioned onto the next part of your journey, but I know there are some of you that are still here, and if I can find the photo off of my other laptop, which has just died, I've got all these photos on it, and I actually have 2 photos of a returned serviceman standing next to the monument, and I believe it's Peter. So hopefully Dad can actually retrieve all the photos off of it. Yes, I know what you're saying. You should have had them all backed up. I should have, and I do now. I've caught some beautiful orbs in this section. Been here on a summer's night and just laid on the grass and just focused my camera up in the dark and just taken pictures, and it's just orbs everywhere. It's beautiful on one hand, but it's sad on another, because I think, why are you still here? Why do you still have unfinished business? You don't owe anything to anybody. If there's any servicemen or servicewomen that are still here in spirit and you want to talk to me, you can talk into my camera and I'll be able to hear you. I'm sure you all remember me. My name's Tracy. We love coming to visit. That big tree up there next to the memorial, we have a photo of what appears to be a shadow figure standing behind some tombstones there. And then further back we have another photo which almost looks like to be a figure in white, almost like maybe a woman. I don't know whether she might, oh, it could have been a nurse. I didn't even think of that. I'm going to have to check the photos when I get home now. So, by that tree there, there's a row of tombstones in front of it, and about 4 tombstones in, there's a shadow figure behind the tombstones, and then just further back, towards that big pepper tree at the back, there's a figure that looks like a woman, and she's all in white. It hadn't occurred to me until now that it could have been a nurse. So I'm really going to have to check that out when I get home. And these were all taken at night time, because then when we took my photos later, there was nothing there. I'm going to go now. I'll see you all again soon. I wish you all peace and love. And now we're going to head down that way. Just down on this corner here, a few years back when I was with Kelly, is where I saw a shadow figure. We were walking along this road, and right about in this area here, there was a shadow figure walking along. and from memory, just sort of gauging where things are, like there's the little gazebo shed, because this was at night too. You could make out his outline, and he, to me, like he was wearing tails. It looked like he was almost wearing like the long riding boots, leather riding boots, and he wasn't a very good energy. He really made Kel and her friend quite unsettled. However, I just took one look at him and said, "Oi, I see you," and I ran after him, and he just disappeared. For some reason, to this day, I still have in my head that his name is James Whitcomb or Whitaker or something, but we can't find any record of him, and I've looked around I don't know how many times and not been able to see any graves with Whitcomb or Whitaker on them in this area. But he was definitely walking off with purpose, and he didn't like me. He kind of intimidated the girls too, and I called him out on it and called him a coward, which I don't care if you're a spirit or if you're living and you're a male. You don't make women feel uncomfortable. You just don't. I'm not going to tolerate that crap. I don't care if you're alive or in spirit. So yeah, so this place hasn't disappointed as far as those making themselves known. I just wish I could find the grave. I even had a dream of where it is in this cemetery, and I still can't find it. So who knows, maybe he's in a grave that used to have a tombstone and the tombstone's gone. I don't know. But yeah, so that was the other interesting episode I had here, which happened not long after the nun. So it's pretty apparent to me that some are quite happy to be seen and heard and photographed. And like I've said before, you know, you have good and bad people in life. It's no different when they cross over. I think those characteristics, those traits, they're still there. So yeah, there's more. Gives you some idea just how many old graves are here. There's so many. It's an amazing place. Look at that pepper tree. We were just standing under that before I took some photos. Anyway, we're going to head down this way now. So let's go. Is there someone here that would like to communicate with me? It sounds like I was hearing little stones, like small stones being thrown. Let me just... No. Like that kind of noise. That's the sort of noise I was hearing. There it is again. Is someone throwing stones at me? Would you like to communicate with me? Would you like to speak to me? Tell me your name. Let's try taking a couple of photos in a minute and see if we get anything. It almost sounds like stones on glass. Let's see if it sounds as... That's exactly what I was hearing. Nellie, is that you? If you're talking to my camera, Nellie, or Henry, I'll be able to hear you. That's exactly what I heard. Little pieces of gravel on glass being thrown. I don't know if the camera picked it up. I heard it about 3 times. Well, I'm going to walk away now, so if you want to make that noise again, you can. It's just beautiful. Beautiful. I never get tired coming here. I probably already said that in the beginning. I just don't. And the change of the seasons too, like with plants and wildlife and the pepper trees. The peppercorns here make the best ground pepper ever. They're so good. Someone else is doing photography down there as well. This is beautiful. I'm going to take a couple of photos of that. Okay, we're at another section that Bernie, Ashlyn and I came to one night. And actually I think it's the next one over, I could be wrong. This is like the Greek Orthodox section. And we were walking through here. I won't actually show you the graves up close, but I'll just do a pan down the pathway. And when we got over to this area, we had the most disgusting smell of kerosene. Do you remember the old kerosene heaters? Which, I don't know how to God we didn't all perish from the fumes as children if you had a family. Our mum and dad had one, I remember we had one. But it was in a particular area here and the smell was so strong, we were feeling sick. And we smelt it continuously, then it disappeared, and then it came back. And then Bernie was standing towards the end of the road here, and you've got the trees across the road. And before she could even take a photo, there was this full forming mist that just kept drifting in and out. It did it a few times. And then I took some photos as well, and we caught some really amazing orbs up in these trees, but the smell of the kerosene was just absolutely awful, which made me wonder, like, did someone die in a house fire? You know, did a kerosene heater get knocked over? Did a fire start? Did someone lose their life that way? I did a bit of history, you know, look through the archives to try and find some deaths by kero heaters, but I couldn't come up with anything. But yeah, so that's another thing we experienced here. Have a look at this beautiful one over here. I'm not going to go too close because I don't want people to see too much detail, but that's gorgeous. That is really beautiful. Okay guys, I'm now going into a section that for some reason I don't like. Oh, that's just me tripping over a rock. Is anybody here that'd like to communicate with me that's in spirit? My name is Tracy. If you want to talk to me, you can talk to me through my camera. You may not touch me. You may not follow me home. I am protected. Why is it so off in here? Why is this section so uninviting to me? Someone talk to me. I'm just going to pan around a little bit. You want to show yourself on camera? You can do that also. I actually feel sick. I feel like I'm going to throw up. Don't know what it is. there's something or there's someone who's here that is just rotten to the core. And I don't know why, but every time I'm in this area and a bit further down, and also there's another section up closer to the other gate, not the one we walked into, but the one up further here, it's off. Like it's just, it's not, yeah, something's not right. Why do I get the feeling there's somebody here in spirit who's not of good intent? You won't have good intent in life, and you certainly aren't in death. And why do I feel like children were involved? Talking to my camera. I am protected. You cannot touch me. You cannot follow me home. I forbid it. Let's take some photos now and see if we get anything. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to finish up here. My battery has almost drained. It has been charging for the last day and night. It was full and now it's almost flat, and it's just after I've been over in that section over there, the Catholic section. Yeah, so I was going to hope to stick around until it got a bit darker, but that's not going to happen. So I am going to say goodnight, and Bernie and I will see you again really soon. We'll be doing another overnight session somewhere soon. So in the meantime, I wish you all peace, love and prosperity. Be kind to each other. And this is Bump in the Night Productions. Bye. Okay guys, I'm probably going to have to finish up now. After being over in the Catholic section over there, my camera has almost completely drained. And it's been charging for the last 12 hours. And it was full. I've never had a camera battery drain like that since I've changed over to the rechargeables. Like general run-of-the-mill batteries, it'd be nothing for me to go through 20 in a night, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, I've got a quarter of a battery left. So, and it seemed to go down after going over there to my favourite spot, not. So yeah, so maybe I might get a couple more pics in, but that's going to be it for me. So once again, thank you for joining us. Please remember, if you see, hear, feel, sense anything, comment below. And like, comment, subscribe. So I think security's coming up behind me, so I have to go. Anyway, so I better go. So we'll see you again in the next one with Bernie. So peace, love and prosperity. Ciao for now. Bye.